Hey, aloha guys. So today we're going to be discussing the difference between fee simple and leasehold property, okay? So what is fee simple? Fee simple is when you buy a property and you own it indefinitely. This is the form of ownership that is kind of typical for ownership of property in the United States. You own it until the end of time. You pass it on to your heirs. Of course, you're still responsible for any payments as far as taxes, mortgage payments. In the case of a condo, the buyer purchases the condominium unit and the interest in the land and the common elements. Aside from restrictions as far as zoning laws and community covenants, there's really no limitation to how you can utilize your fee simple property. So how does that compare to leasehold? Leasehold can be for single family homes, but more commonly here in Hawaii at least, is for condominiums. And what it is you're purchasing a temporary interest in a condominium and the original property owner still owns the land in which the condominium sits. So to purchase a leasehold property, it's essentially an agreement to own the condominium for a designated period of time, and the land and the common elements are all still owned by the landowner. The duration for this leasehold interest in a property is stated in the leasehold agreement, and typically at the end of a leasehold agreement, several things can happen, but usually by default, there's what's called reversion, where the land reverts back to the original landowner along with all of the improvements. So what this means is at the end of the leasehold period, the land may revert back to the owner along with all of the improvements or structures. So there's no guarantee that you would own the property in perpetuity, unlike with fee simple property. Now, there's several things to note about leasehold property. Typically, leasehold arrangements are for an extended period of time, often 50 years, could be 100 years, but usually for an extended period of time like that. Now, throughout the duration of the lease, there are what is called renegotiation periods, where as the market value increases, then so might also the leasehold rent fee. See, while you own this leasehold property, you will be paying monthly leasehold dues to the original landowner. If the owner of the land decides to sell, then the leasehold interest holders may have the first opportunity to purchase. And if a third party buys the land, then the lease would remain unchanged, because it's similar to a residential lease where that lease cannot be disturbed by a sale. You still have your rights to the terms of the lease. So there are some risks with owning leasehold property. It's important to make sure you understand the terms of the lease in detail before moving forward with any purchases there. Even leasehold properties with long lease periods can have challenges with financing, and sometimes the renegotiation periods can come into play when it comes to financing. If there's a renegotiation period within the next 5 years, a lot of times bank will look at that and they will make assumptions about how the lease rate is going to increase, and it may affect your eligibility to qualify for the property and what the bank would expect you to be paying per month to hold the property. Leasehold properties can also be a challenge to sell. There's a lot of buyers out there that are hesitant to get into a leasehold agreement. However, there are some great advantages, which we're going to get to in a minute. But one of the things that is a challenge over time with a leasehold property and the resale of it is, as the renegotiation periods get closer, or the duration of the lease itself gets closer to expiration, that does take away from the value of the property. One more thing to note here, and do your own research because I'm not a CPA and I'm not a tax professional, but often if there's 30 years or less remaining on the lease for your leasehold property, then the property may not be eligible for a 1031 exchange, which I know is a very popular move with investors. So if you purchase a property and there's less than 30 years left on the lease when you go to sell it, it may not be eligible for a 1031 exchange. But why would anybody buy a property like this if there aren't some benefits? There definitely are some benefits. So for investors, typically with a leasehold property, it's a much lower cost of entry. If the property was fee simple, it would resell for much, much more. So this gives investors an opportunity to enter a property and get a more healthy cash flow. There's also a number of lifestyle buyers out there that this may be really attractive to. Once again, getting into an amazing property at a lower price point can be very beneficial for somebody who doesn't want to own the property forever. Oftentimes owning the property for 10, 20, 30, 40, even 50 years on some of these leases is more than sufficient for a lot of folks. Once you buy a leasehold property, is there any chance that you can eventually have that become a fee simple property? The short answer is yes. A conversion from leasehold to fee simple can occur when the owner of the property, the owner of the underlying leased ground, makes a decision to sell or offer the fee simple interest to the leasehold interest condominium owners. Typically, if you were to receive an offer like this and you could convert your leasehold property into a fee simple property, this would be a great opportunity. However, it does depend on what the price of that is. And it depends on the price of the property, the value of the property, and what the value of the property might be if it was fee simple. And of course, what they're offering to convert to fee simple. I hope that cleared up a lot about leasehold versus fee simple. I know this is a quick video and I just wanted to get right down to the 101, the nitty gritty of it, and just give you a basic underlying understanding of what fee simple versus leasehold is. I hope that helps, and make sure you guys have a great day. Aloha.